just vibing to that music. um, we're still waiting for a couple of panelists to come through, but as they're joining and getting promoted, we'll just start it off by kicking off the panel. So in general, this is the next generation of anime content. I wanted to highlight some dope podcasts out there, Black anime podcasts specifically, that I just thought were cool, man. They just creating new content. I honestly think, they're gonna be the big ones of the next generation. I wanted to do some One Piece playoff words, some anime thing for that, but I wasn't feeling that creative, so I just kind of left it as that boring title. But Worst Gen is transitioning over. So in the meantime, while we're doing that, do you guys mind introducing yourselves? Oh, and actually, before you introduce yourselves, I got my co-host on here, Mr. Player Five, as usual.
They tried to
forget the peoples.
They tried to forget about me. What's up, everybody?
So yeah, you guys, let's start with Knox from Project M.A.N.G.A. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourselves, say hello to the peoples.
Yeah, what's up, you guys? I'm Knox. I'm with Project M.A.N.G.A. I review Weekly Shonen Jump on YouTube. 3 of my other friends. Project M.A.N.G.A. everything: Twitch, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, what have you. That's where we at.
Yep. And then we have Mike and Nate from Blainme podcast. If you guys want to introduce yourselves.
I'm Unbothered Mike from the Blainme podcast, weekly anime podcast where we just talk shit, have fun every week, and just talk about our weekly watches and trending anime topics and everything. So I'm happy to be here, guys. Thank you.
And I'm Sine. I'm the other half of Blainme podcast. Thank you guys for having us.
Oh, no problem.
We appreciate you being here.
What's up?
I said we appreciate you being here.
Yep.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
No problem. So while we're still waiting on Worst Gen, let's kick it off with some intro. So usually, like on our podcast, whatever, we do this little like story time thing. I technically didn't put it into the notes. I should have, but let's start off with like just a light little story time from both groups. Basically how it goes is usually we just tell some little short or funny story. Could be something recent, could be something that happened a while ago. It could be anime related, could not. It's totally up to you, just whatever story you feel like sharing with the people.
And we love putting people on spot. So yes, we did.
Yeah, that's kind of what we do.
Oh, it's a good story.
Dude, my life is so boring.
Oh, come on. Everyone has
Oh, God, no, I'm trying to think, man. It's like there's nothing recently I've done that's worth talking about.
Mike, I know we got stories. I just can't think of any right now. I was trying to think of something maybe that happened at a con. But
an easy one for you. Your first fist fight.
Oh God.
There we go. You can't think I got easy one for you.
Oh, man.
First fist fight ever?
Knox, now it's you. You it. First fist fight. Story time. Let's go.
I had this brand new pair of K-Swiss.
Not the Swiss.
Not the K-Swiss, man.
Yeah, and I like the classic joints, yeah, the all white. And I like begged my parents for them, dog. And I got them, and I'm at the bus stop. I'd like walk, like fucking, I don't know, 30 yards to my bus stop in these new K-Swiss, and then like these this brother and sister are like arguing about some shit. I can't even remember what it is, so long ago, but eventually their tussle reaches me and gets on and they scuff my K-Swiss, get mud on them, and they like, deal with their shit. And I kind of like stay silent, you know what I'm saying? Just like letting the anger build. My shoes, man, we get on the fucking bus and I'm making a big deal out of these K-Swiss. And it eventually comes to blows. I got my ass whooped, bro, over some K-Swiss. I think about that shit all the time.
Yikes.
I'm so sorry to be laughing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, that you thought that was gonna turn into like a triumphant victory. I got my shit. No, bro, over some K-Swiss, bro.
All right.
That is hilarious.
I
can go next. I do. Try. I've grown, guys, but I would say my first fight was actually during basketball. I don't know if you guys remember the Hoop It Up tournaments, like back in the day that people used to. Oh, y'all don't remember?
I don't think I remember those.
So back in the day, they used to have like 3-on-3 Hoop It Up tournaments, and like they would host them in like the big cities around the U.S. And of course, you know, Dallas used to have them. And one year, we made it to the finals. I was in like probably 7th grade. We'll say 8th grade maybe. Long story short, we were like down to like 20 seconds. We were down by 1, and it was a 3-on-3 tournament. We were down by 1, and my dad was the coach. My dad told me to foul the girl, and so I did. Well, and it was rough. Like I grabbed her and pretty much threw her down because the ref wouldn't call it, because it's like street ball. Look it up on YouTube later, guys, but it's basically like street ball. So I grabbed her and like threw her down because he was not calling it. So she got up like she wanted it, and then that was it. And then her mama came out, my mama came out, and then and it was horrible. It was so ratchet, it was so ghetto. But I technically I feel like I won the fight because I did land a punch, but before they started trying to break it up.
Okay. Got the W. That's a W to me.
You know, I feel like this is what happens when you think you're the main character of the story. So I appreciate the story. Y'all funny. Mike, you want me to give you another prompt, or you got your first fight? Any story you want, but I had to
mute myself for a second there. Okay, off the top of my head, man. So 7th grade art class. So we used to all just in there just crack jokes and everything like that. And then like for whatever reason, this dude that was like, we also had the same name. His name was Michael. He was a Mexican dude. And like he just kept like trying me and like trying to make a scene out of it, like trying to punk me or whatever. And so that day I'm fed up. Like I'm like, all right, bro, like leave me alone. Like I'm not into this shit today. And like he kept poking at me. Our teacher sitting there looking at us. I'm like, bro, leave me alone or I'm gonna knock you out. And he was like, bro, you're not gonna do anything. So I said, bro, I'm gonna give you one more chance. Please leave me alone. And he kept going. And like all I know is I blinked and he was on the ground. Like I just literally and I hit him, and then they threw me out the classroom. And I'm like, this isn't even me. Like, I don't even be wanting violence, but I chose violence that day because I was like, bro, you really just got me to that point.
Right. And you don't even remember, you blacked out. That was Hakuba. Yeah, that wasn't even Mike. That was Hakuba.
Bro, I don't know. I got possessed. Like, I went like full adult gone, like just fuck everything. just went crazy. Like, I was like, bro, I hate you. Yeah, so I got in trouble that day for sure. I definitely got suspended for 3 days, but it was definitely worth it though.
Hell yeah!
All right, so I guess moving on. Thanks for sharing those stories.
Hold on, where's y'all's first fight?
Oh, that's a good question. Player 5, you want to go?
All right, I'll just knock it out real quick. I remember my first fight. It was with my cousin, and she was a girl. And so what happened was that she just used to bully me, and then they would tell me like, you know, I couldn't fight her back. I'm talking petty bully. Like, don't you know you poured a cereal and then you trying to look at the back of the box as a kid, you know, playing the little games they got in the box. Yeah. Like I'm playing with the box and she just come take it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? She's not even eating that cereal. She eating a different type of cereal, just come take mine. So, you know, I had told her, all the grown-ups, like, hey, man, this keep happening to me. Please do something. They wouldn't do it. Then I told her my last warning. I was like, hey, I'm going to fight you. Her last words before she got beat up was, boys don't fight girls.
Oh, no.
That day, that wasn't the case. Gave her the 2-piece with the wing, something nasty. And boy, I got toe up afterwards. But it is what it is.
She tried you.
I remember my first fight to this day, man.
Had to put some bacon on her cheeseburger. Don't touch my cereal, lady.
I'm dead.
I mean, for me, outside of random fights with my siblings here and there, I think that it's probably not my first, but it's the one. It's young enough to where it probably was close to being my first. I used to go to Catholic school, so there was this guy who I guess was my friend, but you know, like when you're a young kid, you have like everyone's kind of your friend, but not really. But I don't remember what happened, but we got into it, some kind of argument. And then he called me the N-word. So I punched him in his jaw. And then
Naturally.
that was it.
Got him out
Like,
of here.
that was the summary of the story. I punched him. He looked at me. I looked at him. And we just kept moving on, like with the rest of our day. So I don't know if it qualifies as a fight, but I threw a punch, so I felt like that counted.
We love to see it.
I'd be in lunchroom like, y'all see that fight? He whooped his ass.
Hey, GB from Worst Gen is in here now. He raised his hand, just so you know, bro.
Nice.
All right.
Whole lot of gang shit.
All right, we're gonna give them their chance to tell their story time then before we jump in. So he should be getting promoted in a second.
We need the hall pass. He late.
Right?
Mm.
I think he's joining.
Do we want to move forward or where?
Yeah, I was gonna give him a chance to say his 2 cents. I think he's in here now.
There we
There we
go.
go.
Yo,
What's
wait
up,
a minute.
GB?
Not the green screen. Oh,
Yes,
no.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Okay.
no.
Hey,
That's
what's up,
hard, bro.
everybody? Can everybody hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
You.
I don't want to hear nothing about no hall pass, man. The information that I had was not up to date.
Uh-oh.
The email I have says 4 p.m. CST, so that's what I've been operating on.
Oh,
I do apologize,
you're good, bro.
but here we are.
Yeah,
Oh,
man.
my bad. It definitely should have said 3 p.m. CST.
Yeah. You good,
Literally,
bro.
I got lucky.
Sensei thought it was 4 too, so.
Yeah, I told Sensei 4 too, because that's what my email said. I literally got
Mhm.
lucky because I was pubbing the convention. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna be on the panel at 4. They like, not based on the flyer that y'all dropped, and not based on what Blainme dropped this morning. I was like, what you mean, bro?
Oh.
Hey, all
Yeah,
right.
no.
Blame it on me. And when you say blame it on me, really blame it on my VA. But she was nice, so I'll take the L for that one. That's
It's
my
all
bad.
good, bro. We here now. Apologies.
Yeah, no problem. So just tell the people a little bit about yourself and your podcast, and then everybody was sharing a story time about their first fight. So we just gonna put that on you after that's done. After you give your intro.
Wow, my first fight. Okay, a little bit about me. My name is GB. I'm the host and creator of the Worst Generation podcast. We are the exploratory anime and manga podcast. So if you're into anime and manga, we're gonna take you on a journey as we go through different concepts, different content, and we talk about pretty much everything. To me, it's the best podcast out, but that could be subjective. And if anybody's interested in anime and manga or just checking us out, come on over. You can find us at worstgenerationpodcast.com. And then my first fight? What's my first fight? It's a little personal, so like not getting too personal. My father passed away when I was young. And shortly right after he passed, this dude was trying to get me smoke, saying that he pitied my father and pitied my family in the boys' bathroom. And I'm more of a lover than a fighter, but
It was
you
time.
gotta fight where I'm from.
Yes.
So and I don't know why the first thing I thought was like to grab him by the back of the head. And I took his head and slammed it into the automatic hand dryer that you
Yes.
wipe your hands on.
I hope you left a dent in that
Yes.
motherfucker too.
And then I had to use weapons because I was a little dude. I ain't started growing until like my junior year in high school. So
You had the knife in the boot trick.
yeah, I had to pull the toothbrush out my back pocket and shank him a couple times. So ended up slamming his head into the hair dryer in the bathroom, and then I got some punches in. But our teacher at the time was male, so like he was all up on top of that shit. He was in there breaking us up and stuff quickly. But it was kind of gross because we fell to the floor fighting, and you know how the bathrooms be like the floor be wet and water. Like
Wow.
like looking back on it, it's super gross, bro, that we was on the ground fighting about that. But that's how
I
it
would have had to whoop him harder just for making me
that was
fall
my
on the
first fight.
ground.
I
Oh, like what the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh,
Boys'
nice.
bathroom's a terrible place to fight.
Yeah,
bro, it's the worst place. But like at the time, I didn't have that experience to know what a bad environment I was choosing. I should have snuck them. I should have snuck them on the way into the hallway, just like played my cards. And as we was going into the hallway, like got the sucker punch off or something.
Yeah, that's how I would have done it.
I took it to him.
I play Rogue and WoW. I backstab all day.
Get the sucker punch off and then go into the house into the hallway. Like, teacher, you see this? You see this?
Can niggas hear me?
Yeah, bro. What's up, Sensei? Wait a minute.
God damn. Bro, it was just crazy as fuck trying to get in this bitch, bro.
I'm loving the pinstripe aesthetic right now.
You feel me? I had to come, you know what I'm saying? I'm coming from a baby shower and shit, you know what I'm saying? You know, like I heard how niggas was talking, you know what I'm saying, about it being, I thought it was FO, G. I thought it was FO. This nigga Knox hit me while I'm sitting at the table eating some jerk chicken. Like
I hit him on the FaceTime, let him see everybody in the Zoom. Like, where you at?
Where you at? What the fuck you mean, nigga? This shit don't start till 4:00. He like, no, we on now. You on now? I'm fucking 10 minutes away from the crib. So I'm like, all right, I'll be there in 15 minutes. This nigga GB calling me in the car. Why the fuck you send me off? Damn. Nice story, GB. I'm glad you got it in, G. The first fight's always be in the bathroom, G.
First fight was in the bathroom too.
Yes, sir.
That's
oh wait, I ain't even fucking introduced myself. Yo, what's cracking? It's your boy Sensei Lake Glove, the ball head, black anime nerd, the ball barbarian, the ball bitch smacker, the ball blastoise, the ball
bitch smacker.
Ball bitch smacker. I love it. I love to hear it.
Mr. Gloves off, King Glove, first of his name. Long may he fucking reign in this bitch. What's cracking, man? You're a resident fucking YouTuber, One Piece YouTuber, also resident shit talker. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Sensei Lake Glove, as well as YouTube at Sensei Lake Glove. First fight. So I was having just a rough ass day. Like I was one of them kids that got bullied a lot, but I didn't have siblings. So like when you a kid that don't have siblings, that whole, you know what I'm saying, just fight back or just hit them back shit take a little bit longer for you to really get comfortable.
More heart.
Exactly. Because when you got siblings, you know what I'm saying. I done stole my siblings, so I might be a little bit quick on the draw, but I ain't had no siblings, so it was like, all right, it's gonna take a minute. So 7th grade, G, I had been getting bullied for a long ass time, and so this new
Today was the last day.
Sensei ain't taking it no more.
So this new nigga comes, right, and he was kind of quiet at first. But you know, I be them quiet motherfuckers that try to get like, you know what I'm saying, assimilated to the shit and the pecking order, as they say. So he tried to like he started like trying to kick it with the nerd niggas. I mean, not the nerd, the bully niggas, like the cool motherfuckers. And like, it was one day, you know how the motherfuckers just start doing dumb shit and then everybody would just do it because whatever is the thing to do. So this is a day niggas is throwing objects in class, not just paper balls, but like whole ass history books. Like all type of shit is launched across the room because we had a sub and shit. So this nigga throws like he spit in the paper ball and threw it at me.
Oh no!
No.
So and I'm having a bad day already. So it hit me and I'm like, bro, what the fuck did you throw that shit at me for? And he was like, what? So now all the niggas is gassing it, like egging it on, like, oh, you niggas finna y'all finna go body blows in the bathroom, body blows. So I've never done body blows, but I see niggas do it all the time, right? But in my mind, I'm like, no, bro, I really want to beat this nigga ass. Like, I really want to fight this motherfucker, right? So we go to the bathroom and like, you know how niggas used to do that shoulder to shoulder shit, like you swing first, so I can have a reason to really hit you. Like, no, he hit me.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really trying to do that. He was doing that. They like, bro, y'all need to fight. Go body blow. So this nigga actually punches me in the chest. I decked that nigga like right across. I'm talking about right across the face. Everybody was like, damn. So now I'm just going at his ass, right? And so like the niggas was like, damn, bro, he hitting you in your face. Fight back. Fight back. So I'm beating his ass, G. That nigga, I'm talking, he's stumbling. It's the bathroom, so it's pissing shit everywhere. So he's stumbling. I also grabbed this nigga head, put it on the sink, you know, in the motherfucking bathroom sinks. I get the G, and then like my fist slid off his face and hit the sink. So my
Ooh.
pinky was like swollen, right?
Oh.
Nigga fell in the toilet, in the urinal, and all of that shit.
Oh
right?
no.
So after he fell in the urinal, I like let him
You
get
had to
up
put
and I
some
walked
kicks
away.
on, right?
No, I ain't kick him, G.
Oh, I'd
I
have
like
been
let him.
stomping
I like
Oh,
let
you
him.
one of those, GB?
I let him get up, G. I let him get up, and I'm like, you know what, G, this shit done. I done beat his ass. They like, y'all finna go round 2? I'm nah, bro. So I get to walking out. He punched me in my back. I'm like, you could have actually
In your
killed
back.
me in my back, right? I'm like, you could have like fucked me up, but you chose my back. So I just kept walking.
Yeah.
At the school, so he felt the way, right? Because now, you know what I'm saying, he feel like he got to prove himself. At the school, he walk up to me with another one of these little bully niggas. And he like, what's up, bro? Let's do this shit again. I'm like, G, I ain't on that shit, G. It's over with, bro. Like
we was in the bathroom. We were surrounded by niggas. It's different.
I'm like, come on, G. We outside now. It's all that shit. He like, all right, well, let me just steal off you one time.
What? Like as if it was a friendship type of thing.
What? No, I'm not letting you steal off me. So now he's steady trying to punch me slow as hell because he's still disoriented from that ass whooping. So I'm moving, G, but now I'm tired of moving because I'm like, bro, you finna piss me off. So I dropped my book bag, catch his hand, and like clocked him again, and he fell. But now the other bully nigga that's with him, like, I'm not finna let you beat his ass. Come on, fight me now, fight me. Like, y'all laugh on some other shit. Then the bus came and I dipped. First fight.
Man, these bathroom fights that y'all brought up, not only are they disgusting, but they remind me of the movie Cable Guy when Jim Carrey caught Owen Wilson lacking in the bathroom and he fucking bashed his head against the hand dryers. He bashed his head against the hand dryers, put his mouth up against the hand dryers and turned it on. And his shit is like
exactly.
Y'all ain't never seen Cable Guy?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, I love Cable.
Man.
I love Cable Guy when they playing basketball in the gym. He's like, oh, prison rules. Yeah, man. I guess what grade school you went to, Sensei?
Me, Amos Alonzo Stagg on 75th and Morgan.
Amos Alonzo. Ooh, that's a little.
Oh, y'all from Chicago? I ain't even know.
Sound like a school you fight from.
Yeah.
Right. No, really though. Amos Alonzo.
Amos Alonzo. Shit.
You got the first and last name of the guy?
My first fight was at Burnside Academy over there off Cottage.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I was on 75th and Wentworth when I got
That's right around the corner. Shit.
But we ain't from 63rd.
You're not from 63rd.
We not from 63rd.
Everybody that's not from Chicago just love bringing up 63rd, like they know what 63rd is.
Don't know, but they know we ain't from there.
Funny.
I don't know what none of the streets are. I'm in Minnesota, but like all my family's in Chicago. I think I remember a cross street that they mentioned at 38th and Levitt is like the only cross street that I know that off the top of my head. I'm trying to fit in with y'all. I know
Levitt. I think you're thinking Lafayette, maybe.
Maybe, yeah, something like that.
Call you over there. What's that? I think Dusable
But
over
in
there.
any event, y'all,
Yeah, my bad.
All I know is Portillo's.
We gotta move past the story time.
Name Mike. What the fuck is up, niggas? Is Mike here?
Yes, sir. I'm here, my nigga. What you talking about?
There you go. What up, nigga? Because I see niggas on the side, but you wasn't there. See,
yeah, bro, I'm here, man.
Can we get it together? We got
Afro in this bitch. Yeah.
Me and Sensei got the damn near the same villain story, bro. That's 7th grade shit, man.
7th grade. 7th grade, brother. That's where it started.
All right, MGG. What's next?
Yeah, so I think in general, we could start off talking about just some, before I do that, now we got everybody here. For people in the chat, feel free to ask any questions that you want. It's kind of like an open-ish discussion. We got some topics that we have, but also we're open to answering questions from the group. But I'll start off the beginning with just general YouTube creator advice and tip stuff. And then we'll get into the real anime topics that I can tell are already going to be interesting debates from just the story time section. So in general, if people want to share, and not everybody has to share if y'all don't want to, but like, can you just walk us through like your YouTube journey? Well, not YouTube, but your podcasting or anime content creation journey initially, like what got you started, and what inspired you to get started, and then maybe some advice that you have for like up and coming creators as far as building their following or creating their own content.
I'm gonna hit the first step to avoid the awkward silence.
Good shit.
Good shit.
What inspired you to get started? Project M.A.N.Ga started out as a group chat on Facebook that existed for like 6 years before I decided to make an aesthetic page for like anime and manga related content. So like fan art, manga panels, clips from anime, openings and endings, things like that. Shit you normally see on an aesthetic page. Then that turned into a closed group. And then followers of the closed group were like, you guys are really good at talking about comic books. You guys should do a podcast or something. And we were like, okay. So we made a podcast. And then that started off on YouTube and then went to, you know, through the Anchor route onto like Spotify and Apple and whatnot. And now it's what it is today. But that's how it started. It was a group chat.
For me, Worst Gen Pod started, I was working on some other podcasts. I'm a project manager and a consultant by trade. So I had found, you know, these other small podcasts and business owners that wanted someone to kind of do their production, their operations. So I was like streamlining that for them, really found a love for podcasts. And so I started listening to a lot of podcasts. Of course, my love for anime and manga had me like looking for anime and manga podcasts, and where I found a lot of nerd podcasts. I didn't find nerds that was talking like I wanted them to talk or doing the shit I wanted them to do. Like I wasn't feeling the flavor. So I randomly was like, I should do my own podcast. And you know, I was in an anime and manga group chat, and I just dropped it in there one day, like, who want to do a podcast? And they hit me back, and so that's how Worst Gen came to be. And then you want us to give advice, like if we had new people too? Is this all the same, like one go round?
Yeah, you can give advice now too if you want.
The main advice I would say, like the biggest mistake I made early on, I still kind of make to this day, is the project manager in me really wants to like try to plan everything out and make everything perfect. But when you come into the game, I think just focus on making content, like just focus on putting something out there and doing it. And if you keep doing it and doing it and doing it, it'll start to build itself. Yeah, and doing it well, it's gonna start to build itself. Like you're gonna look up one day and be like, oh damn, I got an audience, and you know, we got things to talk about, and this became a hashtag somehow. And so I found like the things that really happen for the pod that become something are the things I didn't plan. Like producer credits became a thing for our podcast, and that was just us talking shit one day. Like, so like just do it. Just get up and do it if you want to do it, and don't worry about everything else. Like people will flock if y'all podding for real.
Yeah.
For me, I love One Piece. I think One Piece is like the greatest shit in the world, but all of my friends hate it. So by all of my friends, I mean all of my friends that I could talk about anime shit with hate it. So it became very bothersome to want to talk about my favorite shit with my friends, and they just shit on it all the time because they hate it. So obviously, as a One Piece lover, I would watch a lot of One Piece YouTubers and motherfuckers that just get on there and give their thoughts on chapters or episodes and shit like that. And I'm like, yo, these niggas is just getting on there to talk about the shit they love. I could do this shit. I put it off for a long ass time. Just thinking that, like GB said, it needed to be perfect. I needed to have the best this, the best that. I need a fucking camera. I need a venue. I need a production staff. I need all this other goof ass shit. When no, I don't. Like, I really don't. So I kind of just said fuck it one year and was like, let me put my cell phone up against this stack of pops and just hit record and see how that shit come out. And it felt good as fuck, man. And ever since then, I had just been doing it, obviously slowly getting better, getting more equipment and shit like that. But it felt fucking good to be able to just talk about the shit that I love, like out in the open, you know what I'm saying? And I obviously built a community of friends and other motherfuckers who share the same likes and shit like that I do. So it was great. Now I can say fuck my friends that don't like One Piece. I don't have to talk to them. Any advice that I would give, similar to what GB said, like you just heard, like I had a lot of doubts in the beginning, feeling like everything needed to be perfect when I should have just been doing it. Like, do some content, put it out there, be consistent, and the shit just gonna come, bro. Like, it's gonna flow. And the last thing is just make sure that you like what you're doing. Like, try not to make it too much. Like, try not to make it feel too much like work. Like, have fun doing the shit you're doing. Like, don't force yourself to do shit you don't want to do or don't fuck with for the sake of doing it. Like, just do what you love, and all of that, like all of your inspiration and all of that fame and whatever recognition or whatever, it's just gonna come like later.
Don't worry about the cloud.
Yeah, don't worry about the cloud. Just do that shit.
Niggas.
Let's do that.
Yeah, that's a big one. Is I feel like a lot of people see the clout inside of, you know, other accounts or other creators, and they go, I want that. And it's like, you don't get that if you're not passionate about what you're doing first, and you have a good idea and you have a good vision of what you're trying to do, so that clout makes sense and it's earned. You know what I mean? You can't just link up with all of your homeboys one day and just start talking and expect, you know, all of a sudden to get that recognition. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because even if your shit is fire, like you just started, like no one knows about it yet. So like comparison really is the devil in this game, because it's easy.
The devil.
Even if I look at other podcasts like Project M.A.N.G.A and Blainme, we started doing like the actual podcast portion at the same time. But before
we all were around that. Around the same. That's crazy. Yeah.
Like definitely the like, Mount Rushmore of this shit.
Yeah, Blainme is like 6 months before us, and like Project M.A.N.G.A and us are pretty much in the same month or so.
I think we started after you for sure, because you guys were already like pretty. When I found you guys, I like looked through your shit. You already had hella episodes, and we had like 3. So
we was recording hellas early though.
We did do like 10 episodes before we dropped. Exactly. But to make that point, so like it's easy to look at them and be like, you know, we all came in generally the same time in the same year. But then knowing that like Blainme had a Facebook account and Project M.A.N.G.A already had like a group and a Facebook account, like they've already been building the brand, and so the podcast may be new. It'd be easy for a creator like me to look at them and be like, oh, like I want what they got, or you know, he just did this, I should be in that point. But like, don't compare yourself. You don't know somebody else's journey. You don't know what they got going on. Like focus on building on top of what you have, and you're gonna be all right. But if you get stuck in the game of trying to say like, they just made 5 Discords, we need to have 5 Discords too, like that's taking away from your art. Like you literally making your art, it should be unique to you.
You got to do what feels right at the time. And I guess like the biggest point of advice that I can give to people, and I don't really know too much about content creation outside of podcasting. So for aspiring podcasters specifically, like who you're going into business with. You know what I mean? Like if you can help it, have it be like your niggas, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like your people, you know what I mean? Like it's one thing if you don't really got people that like share your interests in real life. So you go on to forums or you go into Discords and you've met friends and whatnot. And you're like, this guy's really good at talking about comic books. This guy's really good at talking about anime. I'm just going to reach out to all of them and just create this team. It's like, do that, but like don't start the podcast like instantly, you know, get to know each other, you know what I mean, before you start it. Another thing is you want to make sure that everybody has a similar understanding of the vision, you know what I mean? Whoever's the idea person, whoever's the creative mind, whoever's the creative mind behind what you're doing, they're obviously going to throw all the ideas out. The last thing you want to do is just be the person who waits for the idea guy to have ideas. You know, everybody should have something to do. And communication is so important, you know what I mean? So make sure your communication is there, make sure you like who you're fucking with, and like make sure that you guys have like a solid foundation before you just hit record. That's the best advice that I can give.
Piggybacking off of what Knox said, like for Blainme, like me and Nay have been dogs since like over half my life. So like we've been cool since what, 8th grade?
Miss Maddox.
Miss Maddox class, So like it was. I don't think that like Nate basically started a Facebook group, you know, just for Black people that love anime, and you know it started getting traction and everything. People started joining everything. We just in there talking shit. Hosting little, you know, group. Let's watch this episode by this day and talk about it and this and that. And so like I end up hearing 2 of our friends now, they did a podcast, and I was like, Nate, like if I wasn't so cool as Nate, I would have never approached her like, hey, we should try to do a podcast too. And so I ended up approaching Nate and saying, hey Nate, let's do a podcast. Come listen to this shit and tell me what you think. And so we end up talking about it, planning it out and everything. And next thing we know, you know, Blainme got created. And the one thing I told Nate from the jump, I was like, Nate, we gonna do this shit. I don't care if we got 1 listener a week or whatever. I don't care if it's just me and you, the only 2 listens we get every week. Let's just be consistent in what we're doing, because we like doing the shit anyway. And it just grew from there. So like the main thing I got as far as advice is like Knox and like GB said, consistency is key. Like that shit, you know, you ain't got to do this shit like it's some fucking job. Like just enjoy what you're doing and keep doing the shit out. The content gonna happen. We didn't put out hella trash episodes, but every trash episode we didn't put out, I learned something from it, and we just got better off of that. People keep coming from it, so it is what it is. So like, you know, say be consistent with the shit.
Definitely.
Could I get Sanae's opinion real quick?
Yes. So I was gonna say, especially for because I am the only woman on the panel. For any women, Black women, women of color, especially, kind of what the guys were saying. When you're doing this, just be consistent. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to do it. And as a woman, I know, kind of in the community, sometimes it can be a little intimidating to step into like podcasting or YouTubing about anime, manga, cosplaying. But just know, like, just stay strong. There's a community that supports you. If you are working with somebody like Mike said, and like GB and Knox, especially what you were saying, make sure you like that person. Make sure you guys have the same vision, similar vision. Make sure they have your back, especially being a woman, because we were on a podcast, we were on Ivy's podcast, The Wonder of Ivy, shout out to her. And she asked if I had ever experienced like any like negativity being a woman in the community. And I was like, honestly, I haven't, but Mike has my back 110%. And I know that. So none of that kind of stuff comes my way. And if it does, Mike is going to shut it down beforehand. So as a woman,
that's so wholesome. Oh my God.
It is. He is though. Like I've never experienced any like negativity being a woman in the anime community, and I know that it can be intimidating because I have seen it on the timeline. I have seen some of the gatekeeping and stuff, and it can make you like kind of standoffish or like reluctant to do your thing within the community. But just go for it. Again, if you're working with somebody, make sure you guys have the same visions and goals. Make sure you guys communicate. If there is a problem, if there isn't a problem, just make sure you stay consistent and communicate with the person you're working with. And if you're doing something by yourself, just make sure you hold yourself accountable for staying consistent and making sure you're putting out content, regardless if you think it's the best at that point. You'll learn from it. And eventually, you'll look up 2 or 3 years later, like, wow, I'm glad I kept going because look what I have now.
Yes, very well said.
Hey, real quick before y'all move on, is niggas allowed to drink in this bitch?
Are we? Because I didn't get no cup because I thought this was gonna be wholesome.
Well, I got peach juice, so yeah.
I also have peach juice.
I'm asking.
I see you, Knox.
Yeah, what's up?
I would say keep it not obvious, but wholesome.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I mean, do what you feel like doing, obviously, but
No, I ain't trying to disrespect your shit. I got
no, you're not disrespecting anything. I'm just saying we're not sponsored by Corona, anything like that. So whatever you drink, just don't let me know what it is.
Yes.
They ain't no check
so like,
for nobody.
so if it's like just in a you know what I'm saying, a little wholesome like this.
I mean, hey, I don't know what that is. That looks like apple juice to me.
That's apple juice to me.
Drink your root beer in peace, bro. Yeah. It's all good, man.
My nigga got the cream Coca-Cola in there.
Yeah. Hey, real quick though, because Nate just reminded me of something that I wanted to say in the advice portion before we move on. You have to be, and this is gonna sound cliche, but like you have to be ready to hear negatives about what you're doing. You have to be ready to hear criticisms, and not just like there's a lot of, you know what I'm saying, SoundCloud rappers, other YouTubers, podcasters, they always say, hit me with feedback. I want to hear everything. And then you tell them, yo,
you don't want to hear everything.
They really don't want to hear everything. Be someone who can hear everything. You know what I mean? And not just the first negative, because everyone's got a preloaded response for the first negative thing they hear. Oh, okay, thanks, bro. Thank you. I'll take that in consideration. But if people keep going, what do you like? They don't really.
I'll be loving that shit.
Yeah, all they have is that first, preloaded. Okay, thanks for the feedback response. But if they keep letting you know things that you should improve on, or things that they think that you can improve on, people will get very irritated, very angry right away, because all they want is praise, because they think that they have a really good idea. You can have the best idea ever, but people will find something to complain about. You have to be ready for that. Just be cool, man. Just be cool. The last thing you want is to be known as that motherfucker who can't hear anything negative about themselves or what they're doing. You know what I mean? If you got to practice that shit, just find out how to take criticism, because that is so important for your image. It's not even
100%.
100%.
To build on that, Knox, have the growth mindset, because I think people will come to you and give you negativity, but not all the negativity that people give you is valid. So that's one thing, but you should also have the growth mindset where you're seeking out those flaws in yourself as well. So like an example of mine that I always give people is the first episode we ever did, we did like 30 listens. And I was working on other podcasts at the time. And these other like one of the podcasts, two of the podcasts I was working with, it took them like 2 years to get to a point where they had got like 30 listens. So for us to get 30 listens on our first episode, you know, we in the group chat, like, yeah, we them niggas, everybody finna fuck with us. We the new squad, the new generation, the worst generation, we out. And then the second episode we did, to this date, is still my most hated episode I've ever heard in my entire life. I hated every part of the episode. It was absolutely trash. That shit did 7 listens.
You talking about Sanji Soma?
Sanji Soma, bro. That shit did 7 listens, and all 7
title
listens
already giving me anxiety.
Bro, all it was the first run my fade concept I had ever come up with.
It was a second one. No, we did Luffy Sabo first, and that was lit. And then we did Sanji Soma.
Yeah, we did Sanji Soma, but something happened with the Luffy Sabo one, right?
Did we lose audio? I know that
I think we lost the audio.
with that.
So I don't know, but like the Soma, when the Sanji Soma dropped, I thought it was finna be like it's the run my fade concept. Like this before Leak was booming it on Twitter, so I'm like, this one finna hit too. Like it's finna be lit. Did 7 listens, all 7 listens. I think the longest person someone listened was like 5 minutes, and everyone else had cut it off like before that. And it was like heartbreaking. And so my first reaction was like, man, fuck these niggas, man. They fake.
Niggas ain't really listening to our shit.
They weren't really listening to us, man. They was just gassing us, bro. But then I went and sat down and really listened to the episode. Was like, why are they all cutting off? And so I started noticing things like the parts where people were cutting it off was like really dry parts of the podcast. Like at that 5 minutes, the audio was super bad. So like I would have cut it off too. And I had to go back and evaluate that and say to myself, like, hey, like you're gonna have to get better at this and this. I didn't know anything about audio production when I started. So now I'm sitting down like, how can I better record and how can I edit this so that these mistakes don't happen and people can listen longer? And so you gotta have the growth mindset when you go in and say to yourself that not only am I seeking feedback from people, but I myself as the creator, as the artist, you have to go in and say like, I need feedback from myself. I gotta be able to say like, this ain't it. This ain't quality. This ain't up to par.
Absolutely. And just piggybacking off of what GB said, like it was sometimes this is the time like I found out like I was really passionate about it. Like we did an episode and everything, and like I listened back to it and the episode wasn't bad at all, but just like our quality wasn't where I wanted to be. It just wasn't there. Like my apartment at the time, it's laminate floor, it's open space, so like you can clearly hear the echo. I was like, bro, our shit sounds crazy. We're talking good, but our shit sounds crazy. And I'm like, somebody's gonna listen to this and be like, I don't want to hear these niggas echoing, or I don't want to hear this nigga's dog tip tapping and you know, from the other room and shit like that. So I literally stayed up, like I couldn't sleep one night because I was just so fucking like just thinking about our audio the whole fucking night. And I told Sinead this shit, and I was like, Nay, I gotta get our shit together because our shit ain't gonna survive if it doesn't sound a certain way. And so like GB said, I don't have any kind of background in audio or anything like that. So like I literally like spend all my free time on YouTube looking up shit, just kind of like learning about certain things. I didn't know what the fuck a dynamic mic was or a condenser mic. I didn't know about none of that shit.
Yeah.
I was like,
I
oh
could
shit,
get away with doing this on my phone,
bro. Yeah, bro. I literally, our first episodes were Fat Kid Deal condenser mics, and them shits were trash.
Fuck them.
But Fat Kid Deals has an A block, so by default it's fuck them. But I still purchase from them. But anyway,
they got you blocked. Oh shit!
They blocked
Yes.
they
That's a distributor, like a manufacturer got you. A whole manufacturer got you blocked.
But Fat Kid's Deal is emotional, bro.
They are
Super
very
emotional.
sensitive.
Very sensitive.
It was on some bullshit. It wasn't even nothing.
I really didn't do anything.
Well, yeah, we like I said, I had to upgrade all our shit because I couldn't live with our shit sounding a certain way. We had to keep getting better. So I didn't delete these episodes because I want people to see like, okay, they might have heard where we came from drunk off of Mimosas the first 2 episodes and where we are now 100 episodes later. So so that's the growth is there.
I was coming from the brunch to record the pod. Funny.
Nigga, we was having no brunch.
No.
Oh, okay. Hey, real quick. Okay, as far as roles, I have to say this. This is probably the most important thing that I will say today. As far as roles go when you're creating a podcast, like I said earlier, establish who's doing what. But also, if you are the creative mind for your podcast, you have to have patience with the other members of your podcast, because not everyone is going to care about your idea as much as you, even your niggas. You need to realize this early.
That stomach, boy.
You need to realize that early.
Even your niggas
will not like even if you have an amazing idea and all your people know it, you will still be the person who cares about that the most by a wide margin. So if you're the creative mind, be patient with the rest of your team. If you are not the creative mind, support your creative person in your team, because they're the one that's coming up with the content. They're the ones that's coming up with the scheduling. They're the ones that are literally making what you're doing possible. So if you are not the creative mind, what can you do? I'll be the social media guy. Who's the best with numbers? Make them the fucking financial guy. You know what I'm saying? Establish strengths and identify them, and just know that like it's a team thing. Even if someone is taking the head, you know what I mean, and doing everything, you know, like being like the flagship, you know, spearhead of the team, you still want to try your best to reach or match that level of effort as best as you can.
What do you guys what do you guys do for communication to like encourage transparency? Because I think like something that we had for our group at first was me personally, like I'm the idea guy, and I'm a lot of what the pod is. And so the way I took my role at first was I kept a lot of things to myself, because I didn't want to put work or jobs on the other people, because for all I know, they're just here to pod. Like they didn't necessarily come into this wanting to create the content as much as be a part of the content. And so as time goes on, I had a real ass conversation with Sensei where like I was low key like flustered and just bent out of shape. Like, yeah, man, I'm doing all this, and like niggas ain't do this. Niggas wasn't helping me. Like niggas wasn't. And this nigga Sensei
with you in the gym.
Like niggas wasn't shooting with me, man. And Sensei like, well, you got the vision in the double cup. Like that's his thing. He always said, you got the vision in the double cup.
Sensei, like, you're an idiot.
He like, you got the vision in the double cup, and if you not like telling us that and asking us questions, how the fuck we know? Like, we don't know what you doing and what you got going on. Like, you gotta be like having them things. So I go in the group chat literally that day, like trying to take his advice. Cause like, I love that Sensei is from Chicago, because the nigga gets me. So like, we can literally like bump heads and like really clack up. But I know it's all love. So I go to the group chat later, like, man, fuck this nigga. I know he wrong, but I'm gonna prove him wrong. And like, you know, I just go on the chat basically like, you know, who trying to do XYZ, and like I got this happening, and like niggas stepped in and was like, oh yeah, I could do that. I could knock that out for you. Like, hey, I'll do that. And so that was my moment for like, all right, I gotta really work to encourage transparency amongst the team and like communication for people to feel like this is theirs too, and that all of us have equal like input to be able to come in and say like, hey, I want to do this and I want to improve it. And my job is to be more the facilitator and say like, all right, we got the platform. You want to do that? Let me put these tools and resources at your disposal. Like, go crazy.
Yeah,
so,
and it's always
a life-changing moment.
Communication's always been easy over at PM, just because we're all from Minneapolis. We all grew up together. Like Eagle's my little brother. I lived with him for a while. You know what I'm saying? Eagle and Kiko are cousins, literally blood cousins. You know what I mean? So it's like we all it's very easy for us to like, and that's why I said like you gotta get to know like your people before you start what you're doing, because it's like if you don't know somebody and you're the only reason why they're on their team is because you like their YouTube channel, what happens if they do something wrong? How easy is it going to be for you to go to that person and say you're tweaking? It's probably not going to be that easy if you don't know them and they're already an established content creator. So then what do you do?
Somebody, my bad, go ahead, Sinai.
Oh no, because I was about to, I seen the chat too, so I was going to answer that. And really quickly, I was going to kind of bounce off Knox and everything about the communication. For if you're working with someone else, be open to the communication line that they might be giving you. So if it is maybe constructive criticism, in GB's case, how he was explaining that you know, he felt like he had a lot of the workload on him, and it felt like the others weren't doing as much. I mean, we kind of had a similar thing at one point in time, and Mikey hit us up like, hey, yo, what's up? Y'all niggas gonna do, like, somebody gonna do this, that, like, what's up? And I was like,
For my life.
damn. I was like, damn, I didn't even know, bro. I'll just start doing, you know, I was like, I'll do this. And he was like, okay. And then that was it, you know?
Yeah.
So like just making sure that the communication, being open to whatever that could be, whether it's constructive criticism or if it's positive, anything, just be open to when you're working with other people with what they have to say, and don't necessarily take it to heart. Because again, like you said, like Knox was saying, you know, the person, the creator, because for us, Mikey is he is the creative mind. And I just, you know, whatever Mikey needs me to do, hey, I'm gonna do it. But you know, he really does do everything behind the scenes. So I'm open to whatever he tells, you know, whatever he says, and vice versa. If I do have an idea, he's very open to my ideas and willing to try to implement them in any kind of way. So just be open to who you're working with and the communication line, whether it's positive or negative.
Yes.
And then I did see the question from Ashley, because I
was just gonna bring that up real quick.
How do you guys go about deeming something unsuccessful or successful? Like, what does that look or sound like to you guys? The answer is analytics and feedback.
Yeah.
Both qualitative and quantitative. Like, you need both. Sometimes the numbers don't show exactly. So like when people say if one person listens to my episode, that's real shit. Like sometimes you may not have got the reach that you wanted and you didn't get the thousands of people on that episode, but if you get one person to listen and that one person was like, yo, like this was lit and I love this concept and this happened and all that, then you touch that one person. To me, that's a success. I may have failed in other areas, but overall successful. Let me go out and figure out how to get this out to more people so I can actually test the analytics on a wider scale. But I pretty much pull analytics for everything. There are a bunch of services out there. I pull them from the different podcast distribution platforms I'm on. I pull them from social media. I pull them from my website. Like you got Google Analytics. You pull analytics from wherever you can get them, and then you try to just find trends and cross all your analytics over and see like, oh shit, like for some reason on Tuesday around 5 p.m. we get the most tweets. I wonder why that is, but is that also a good time for us to do?
Because that's the time Lee get off work.
That's the time Lee get off work. Mm-hmm. Like, and you may find out like our audience actually responded to that. So like on those times, even when Leak has an off day, that's still his best time for some reason. Like you got to find those trends and kind of find out what's really working for your pod. But analytics is the best way to do it. Like the numbers will always show you exactly what you need to see.
Yes.
And as Knox said, the feedback as well.
Yes.
I think for us, like the come to Jesus moment or like that, like, oh, wow moment for us. I know, especially for me in particular, I won't say just for Mikey, but probably after a couple months when we started like actually having people tweet us and looking for episodes, because at the beginning, like Mike was saying, he didn't know exactly. Mike does everything for us for the record. And when he was learning how to edit the audio, we weren't putting them out exactly. The goal was to have them out on Monday mornings, but that wasn't always the case, you know? And when people started like checking for us, like, damn, y'all ain't putting out an episode. I'm like, oh, y'all niggas is waiting on us.
Yeah,
like y'all actually want to hear us
Like,
talk.
yo.
Like, what the
That's
hell?
a crazy feeling, dude. Yeah.
It is. It's so crazy. And for me, I was like, okay, this is successful. Like the feedback from people was like, okay, maybe we are doing, you know, more than what we thought. You know, we have people that actually want to hear our voices. They want to hear what we have to talk about. And then I think another thing that kind of defined success for us was being able to reach out in the community and all like gravitate towards each other and be able to network with each other and support each other. Because I feel like if you don't have the personality, or if you're not willing to like network with people within the community, then, you know, how far can you go? Mm-hmm. And for us, you know, being able to talk to everybody in the community, reach out, you know, network, be on each other's pods, support in any type of way, that was something I was like, okay, I feel like we have put in some work and we definitely, I feel like it's successful. So
The networking is bomb too, because like when we started the podcast, that was my number one priority. Like I always wanted to fuck with the other podcasts, and so I just made it my mission, like to just be tweeting people or like adding them, listening to the different podcasts, finding out. Because it was crazy. Before I started the podcast,
sorry niggas,
I couldn't.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, you good, bro. Before I started the podcast, it felt like I couldn't find any other podcast that was like what I wanted. And then as soon as I started the podcast, like Blainme pops up on my radar like 2 weeks later. Knox is in my DMs like, hey man, I'm doing this little creators Discord. Like you want to pull up and we could just talk creator shit in this Discord. Like I see Black Anime and Mike check.
MGG was there. Oh my god, I forgot
all
about that.
MGG was there.
Oh my
Yes, she
god.
That Moogie nigga was there too.
Moogie was there.
That was
put some respect on MGG name.
That was the time, dude.
Yeah, like, bro, that was a different time. So like I started.
I never got to tell you guys how much I appreciated like you guys' willingness to meet up as often as we did in that little like 2-month span that we were kind of like meeting up regularly to talk about like gripes and struggles and
we all needed that, bro.
It was needed. It helped me out a lot. Like I've been mute on this conversation, but half of what you guys have been saying, I like really. It's hard for me not to get involved because we're hosting this, so I'm trying to play moderator role. Sure. But I do want to say like the collaboration is amazing. Like that's one thing I want to keep pushing for. To me, it's always been a struggle. Like this is the funniest thing about this podcast is like I'm introverted by nature, like as introverted as possible. But I decided to start a podcast where I have to talk to a bunch of people all the time, coordinate shit with these people all the time, like do a whole bunch of unintroverted things. But I do it because kind of like I fuck with the group that I have. Like when it came to growing my team, it was the same kind of thing. Like I looked at the first person that was on Deuce, I was like, we have 3, 4, 5 hour long conversations about anime. I need them on a podcast. Then when it came to Gramps, Jugga, those were people I was already thinking about like, oh, these would be great people on a podcast. When I talked to Player 5 and Player 5 was like, yeah, I like Slice of Life. I was like, I have no fucking clue how you enjoy Slice of Life. I need you on a podcast because I need you to give that perspective to the audience. And then when it comes to like what GB's saying, as soon as you start that thing, you start realizing that there's a bunch of people all over the place doing the same thing that you never really realized until you started really getting into it. So then I saw Worst Gen, I see Blainme, I see all of these other Black podcasts on Twitter. I'm just not good at Twitter. That's why y'all don't see me in the rec. But
we gonna get you there.
Don't worry, it's coming.
Man,
it's coming.
It ain't for everybody, bro.
That's true though.
I mean, really, the whole time it wasn't for me, and that's why I had Leak do it. Like,
no, GB became a Twitter guy.
Right. So it's just supporting the community, I think, is all. And that's kind of like the purpose of the convention, purpose of this panel, and then like just in general, I really want this not to just end here. I want us to keep collaborating going forward because Knox already, if you guys don't know or didn't be on there, he started a con last year. And I was there. Yeah, I didn't get super involved, but I was like, I had to support. Like, I was lit.
That was fun, dude.
That shit was lit, bro.
We came through. We enjoyed a panel with Sensei where I got flamed about my Rock Lee opinions, but
I remember that.
But it's love. But it's love.
It was what it was. But I hope that this continues to grow past this. And I'm planning on more collaborations with y'all and other anime podcasts like this year, especially, and even more in the future. But that's kind of like, this was kind of like the seed to starting that relationship again. Because I know it was there, but because of my silentness on Twitter, I just wasn't able to really cultivate that seed.
For sure.
It's all love whenever you come around though, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Hey, don't tell me these niggas like Rock Lee.
I love Rock Lee, dude.
Yeah, bro. What you mean? He's not trash.
I love
He's
Rock Lee.
not trash.
Boruto Rock Lee is something else, but
I could go. I could go into a crazy conversation about it. I ain't going.
We ain't gotta do it. We ain't gotta
do it. I'm gonna link up with you anyway because you're a Slice of Life guy, so we gotta talk anyway.
My man. Hey, speaking of that, do y'all got any more last minute knowledge? Like I said, I'm with MGG. I ain't want to interrupt, man. Y'all was flowing, killing it, loving it. Anything else y'all want to drop before we move forward?
last minute knowledge.
Yeah, we're getting close to my Krabby Patty
Do that
secret
shit.
formula now. So
Do that shit.
Just do it, really.
Do that shit. Do that shit.
it.
Do it. Do that
Do it.
shit.
I guess if y'all really want to know the value of networking, the last minute knowledge is like when you network, don't just network about bringing people on your podcast. Like we just said, when we started, we weren't even networking about, I think we only talked about us doing like some group podcasts, like maybe once. Everything else was literally like wins and losses. Like I think an issue that MGG had when we were talking early was like, I got this one mic and I got people that got to sit around the mic and talk, and I want the audio to sound a certain way, and I don't know if the audio gonna sound that way. And we was talking like, well, I just learned about condensers and dynamics, so maybe you could do something like this. And Knox is like, well, we do it this way, and like this is what works here. We use Craig on Discord, we use Zencaster. Like, so you'll find when you network with these other people, you'll find a lot of softwares, a lot of tools, a lot of resources that can help you out. And that's super important. Like, don't miss the value of people who have already walked the path that you walk in. Yeah. And you can just get breadcrumbs from them along the way.
Or just fucking DM, like literally like your top five favorite podcasts. Just DM them and be like, yo, I'm gonna hit you with a bunch of questions. Like, you can always DM me, you know what I mean? Like I love answering those questions, you know what I mean? And just any questions you have, ask like your top 5 favorite content creators and just cross-reference the data and just find like where the dots, you know, collect on the graph, you know, in the most concentrated spot, you know what I mean, as far as your research goes. Because it's like I feel like I see a lot of podcasters that will research it, you know, a little bit, find like the first thing that sounds good to them, and then just start their entire venture on that first, you know, hitch, you know what I mean? And it's like, cool, that's fine, but like even me, like I feel like I studied for 6 months before I actually started my podcast. And as soon as I started my podcast, everything I thought I knew 100% about, I had to complete exactly. So it's like ask a bunch of already established people what they're doing, you know what I mean? And not like, because anybody can just Google best podcasting microphone, best podcasting services, and then get the Google search answers and then start their shit because it sounds good, because you don't have anything else, any other information to really compare it to, and you really want to get your project started. So you just go with the first thing that feels right. It's like, nah, chill out, do a little bit more research. And another big thing is be ready for like really good ideas that if you're a creative mind, if you're the idea guy, be ready for like really good ideas that you have to fail entirely. You know 100%. What I mean?
Write them down too when you have them.
Yeah, exactly.
That shit hurt too.
Yeah, right.
It's the worst. It's the worst.
That
like the first tie-in episode that we ever did, like looking back at classic anime, like the first time that we like premiered that show, I was like, this might be the one, you guys. So naive. Literally like 2 years ago, that fucking video has like 250 views, dude. Bro. And I'm sitting there and editing. I'm like, you guys, nigga, you don't know.
I did
this
that
the
fucking,
one. Yeah,
I did that fucking anime hot ones video, bro. I'm recording that shit. First of all, and I had to record that shit twice.
Yeah.
So I had to do the challenge 2 times. Yes, nigga. Because my homie fucking Take God, shout out to Take God, didn't hit fucking record. Did not hit fucking record. So we ran through eating all them fucking wings with all that sauce, asking all them fucking questions, no footage. So I had to do that shit a second time. And I'm like, this shit finna be fucking lit. I'm editing the shit out of this. I'm putting different fucking sound effects and all type of shit. Hell no. I'm like,
heart dropped as soon as you seen he ain't have no audio. Like you going down a roller coaster. Your shit said, yeah,
bro, I feel like feeling. I had a crazy time, like with me and Nate, like we used to all come to my house and record and everything. And so like one time we did a fire ass episode. It was perfect. And like we all kicking this shit. We kicking this shit, drinking this shit afterwards, whatever. I don't hit save on Audacity at the time. And we go out, I'm walking everybody out and shit. And I come back to my computer. My computer's like on the start screen. I'm like, what the fuck? Bro, my shit did an update when I walked away. My shit was,
bro, my stomach would drop out.
Bro, I was so mad.
My heart just skipped a beat, bro.
Like,
no.
Like, Nate, we have to re-record because it's all gone.
Bro, all the times that shit happened with us, I'll be telling you, I'm not doing that shit over.
Yeah, dude.
We tried it one time. So when we started, I had broke equipment all the way up until like maybe 5 months ago. Like everything I had was broken, refurbished up until like 5 months ago. So like we lost a lot of episodes in that span. Like we have episodes that was great that we will never get back.
Mhm.
And one of them in particular we lost, but it was so good that we was like, all right, this is the only time we ever tried to re-record it.
Yeah, re-recordings, man. God,
that was one of the
damn.
worst recordings we ever did. The energy wasn't there. Like
No.
Oh my god, it's never the same.
It's never the
you lose
same.
that
Never the
spark.
same,
Like you
bro.
lose that
Never
whole
the
like.
same.
And I'm
I say something
gonna say the same thing I said last time, bro. But
yeah, bro.
Now I feel
It's all robotic. Like it didn't work the same. So like we haven't done a re-recording since, but since then I've been much better about like the little thing. Like you really got to learn from your mistakes and pivot fast because like Adobe
it's a
will
lot
crash.
of trial and error, man.
Random updates. You got to turn off auto update because it will update in the middle of you doing like your edits. Like you'll sit down for 3 hours of edits and then Adobe be like, well, fuck it, I want to update right here. Here it is. Like
Big fan.
I got PTSD from that shit. Like I hit save immediately after we get through recording. Like
Yes.
Mike ain't even talking to nobody. Hold on, bro. Hold on.
Yeah, no, he legit.
chill.
He legit
No,
be
chill.
like, okay, y'all.
You can't mess around. You gotta definitely have a process in the system, and you gotta do that if you wanna keep saving your stuff. Like make a process and be like,
That's
I'm
great
gonna hit
advice.
save every 15 minutes, or I'm hitting save at these
Process.
points. I'm gonna make check marks in my process. Like instead of putting my show notes here, I'm gonna put my show notes here, so I know I always got them in there accessible.
Just
like
put
you
the
gotta have little
process
things
sticky
like that.
notes right on the monitor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Throw that shit
Process.
right there. Everything you
Process.
absolutely cannot forget. Throw that.
I wish I could
right
show
in
you. I
your
got
field of
sticky notes
vision.
on my monitor right now. That's just
Yeah.
I do too.
so I can look at them.
Need
All right.
those. Those are mandatory.
So real quick, I just wanted to add on something about the whole retake thing. It's just I feel like, and my Chicagoans will get it. This is just a way you tell a story when you're from Chicago. You know what I'm saying? And when you do it, you can't redo it. It won't
Right.
hit the same.
Not to
It
the
just
same
don't.
people. You can
Yeah.
tell it to another motherfucker.
To another
Right,
But you
right.
can't.
But
I
not
can't
to the same
tell you
group.
the same story the same
Right.
way. G.
It just
Give you the same.
just
We
don't
feed
work.
off energy. They don't give you the same energy. So you like, right? And then Shorty came up, I'm talking all that, he talking all that. And you can't
It
do the
just
same
ain't
thing
the
again
same.
because then when it come back, they not as interested. You like these niggas, they don't even like this story.
Now you mad at them. Now you
I
mad, bro.
swear.
Fuck y'all, bro. Like trying to tell y'all the story. You niggas ain't even listening to shit. Fuck y'all.
You going outside saying shit like, hey, you have to be there, bro.
Yeah, you just had to be that, bro. You know what I'm saying? But what y'all trying to get into, man? Because I ain't trying. Nah,
All
man.
right. So
Yeah, what's up? We about to start talking about anime.
Shit, it's over with. Like y'all,
Oh.
y'all, I swear y'all killed it. Y'all did y'all thing. I came out knowing new shit. But you know, we kind of that's it on time.
Oh,
so
sure,
really,
sure.
Damn. Okay, my bad.
yeah, hey, it is
we
what it
fucked
is.
up.
We did what we did.
No.
So I'm just gonna say
Hunter
one
is
more
better than Yu Yu Hakusho. All right.
fake
Yes, it
news.
That's cap.
What? Oh my god.
Hey, he said we were winding down, so I had to throw
Hey,
some
you know
controversy
what?
out so y'all could be like, hey, wait a minute, get back.
Because that
I'm
was
not
the
gonna be
topic.
like,
Hold
nah,
on, bro.
Yeah.
It was, but we
Fake
talked all
news?
about
Fake
podcasts.
news.
So I'm just gonna ask y'all to go
Clarify,
ahead
you
and tell
drunk,
people
bro?
where they can find you.
Oh no, bro, you drunk. You've been drinking. off
I ain't going. Look, we could have got
been
into
drinking
it. I'm
off
gonna get
camera.
into
You've been
it.
drinking
Y'all,
off
y'all
camera.
think Rock Lee good, so I already know I can't even discuss with y'all. Y'all think a nigga that got slept every fight is good. So
No,
I
don't
can't
do
even talk to
that.
you.
No,
Wait, we
it's
talking
not
about Rock
the
Lee?
wins.
We talking about Rock Lee or Sasuke?
We talking about Rock Lee bum ass.
Yeah.
Took off the weights, got slapped. Like I ain't gonna even get into
He
it
get
though.
slapped?
Yes,
All right,
by who?
All
Everybody.
right, all right,
Look, man, that fight is the most
How you feel
iconic
about-
fight in
Hunter,
anime
Hunter,
because
Hunter-
of the ass whooping Rock Lee. Whether he won or
Exactly, nigga.
not, whether he won or
Hunter-
not,
Hunter
niggas
is
remember
1
that
million
fight
percent
because of
better
what
than
Rock
Rock
Lee did, not because what Gara did.
At all.
I'm sorry. That's my last.
Hunter is 10 million times better than you, brother. And if you think
Sure.
otherwise, you are drunk and you smoking skunk shit.
Let him know.
Skunk shit.
Gotta
The hell
tell
wrong
him.
with y'all?
So it sounds like we just quick hitting the questions. All right,
cannot
let's
believe
do it this way. Let's do it
We
this
can
way.
run
Just
through them
five-
quick, G.
Yeah, just like a minute max response. But we'll go through all the discussion questions, get everyone's opinions. No rebuttals. Just your 1 minute.
Oh yeah.
take
Oh,
on the
this is where I
questions.
thrive at.
I
Hold
love
on, let
it.
me hit my
Wrap it up
soliloquy.
after that.
I got a
Hey,
minute.
That
I got a
way-
minute.
that way we
Hey,
can get some-
Mike, just mute yourself, bro. We don't need to hear that.
Actually,
Y'all,
let's
boy.
cut it to 30 seconds, 15
All right.
to 30 seconds for
All right,
that.
look,
But-
this is all I'm gonna say. Yu Yu Hakusho is my first real anime. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's the first
Not.
anime. You know what it is. I see you, and you know what I'm saying. And you want to know what? Hold on, come on now. Come on. Now.
Let's
Come
go.
Come on now. Stop playing with me. Now look, Yu Yu Hakusho is my home in anime. Like that is literally where I started from. I resonate with Yusuke a great deal. Personally, that squad is my family, but Hunter x Hunter, you need the side by side for me personally to really tell, because like in a vacuum, it's really hard because of nostalgia and a lot of things. But from a storytelling standpoint, the writing is just tighter in Hunter x Hunter, and you could tell that Yu Yu Hakusho was the story that was leaning into Hunter x Hunter. It was like an experimental prototype where Hunter x Hunter is a very complete, very perfect feeling, fully realized version of the author's storytelling mechanisms. And on top of that, like when you from Yu Yu Hakusho to Hunter, Togashi decided to just put logical consistency above everything else, and that's why we have Nen. That's why we have such a plot hole, less story. You know what I mean? For the most part, everybody can say whatever is plot holes in Hunter x Hunter, but for the most part, it's really hard to find them. So like I value that above a lot. So that's why I put Hunter x Hunter up there.
My response will be samesies, nigga.
Yeah.
I'm gonna echo that response. I'm on the same team. I'm gonna let Mike get in there for the sake of time.
Yeah, let Mike and Snake.
He wants to rebuttal.
Back to back.
I don't even need to answer no more questions. That's the only thing I wanted to say. Go
let
ahead.
Mike and Snake go back to back and get the swinging on our ass.
I'm gonna let Mike cook.
All right, bro. I agree with a lot of what Knox said. Togashi really like put his foot in the Hunter x Hunter and just the details of everything, and I do appreciate his storytelling for Hunter x Hunter. However, there's a lot of things in Hunter x Hunter that like it had really, really low moments to me, because although I do respect the Chimera Ant arc, it was parts in that where I was like, okay, bro, they're dragging right now. Like it needs to get to the shits, and it didn't get there. But the whole time watching Yu Yu Hakusho, they were with the shits the entire time for the most part. Mm-hmm. So for me personally, like I said, I enjoy a lot of Hunter x Hunter, but I enjoy the entirety of Yu Yu Hakusho because it's just, to me, it's more how do I put this?
The pacing is a lot more high octane, and it's a lot.
Pacing is good.
Better. Yeah,
it's just a more enjoyable watch. Like for Hunter x Hunter, like I appreciate how detailed he was, but at the same time, everything wasn't enjoyable as far as that detail. Right. Like it took me a few watches to understand the whole concept of Nen, but I understood spiritual energy from the jump. Like it's just easy. It's easier to digest for Yu Yu Hakusho, and that's just why it's just more enjoyable to watch to me. Not necessarily its detail and has well put together as Hunter x Hunter, but it's just a much more enjoyable watch as Yu Yu Hakusho.
Hell yeah.
Nay for the sake.
Oh, I was gonna say I was gonna. I agree with everyone. I think Hunter x Hunter is definitely a more well written. I personally like the characters more in Yu.
I agree. Yes.
I feel like they're a little more relatable. Y'all know I love Kuwabara, but I felt a little underwhelmed when I was watching Hunter x Hunter, and I think maybe partially that was because I was receiving so much like I feel like hype from it. Like, this shit is gas. This is straight gas.
Hunter x Hunter fans don't know how to hype it.
Right, they don't. And so when I went into it, I actually went in. That was probably the first anime I went into, other than Assassination Classroom, where with my expectations like so high, and that it didn't hit anything at all. And I'm like, all right, like y'all niggas capping. It's like, y'all
because it's Togashi, and you're expecting like as beautiful as Yu Yu Hakusho was, you're expecting the Hunter x Hunter to be like 10 times that good, and it's not that it's bad. It's just not like 100 times better than Yu Yu Hakusho Sensei. So you know that's all.
It's also the thing about it. The last thing I want to say is that Hunter x Hunter is a deconstruction. So like that's something that like a lot of people don't really realize when they go into it. So they take their expectations and their experience of shonen storytelling.
They waiting. They like, why the fuck didn't Gon go Super Saiyan when Pepito took the arm off? And it's like, no,
they're expecting
that was the point.
Yes, like he literally actively goes out of his way to take those established shonen tropes and spin them backwards. So like when you have a deconstruction and you're going into it with experience and expectations from the history of shonen storytelling, and you try to apply that to a deconstruction, you're going to think that things are very weird. You're going to think that things are not going the way that they feel like they should, and it affects your rating initially until you kind of go back through again. That's why I always tell people to watch Hunter x Hunter twice, because you almost can't see the forest for the trees. When you go through it a second time, knowing what happens, you can really see the series for what it really is, and you don't have that he was supposed to do this right here, feeling like when fucking Kite lost his arm and fucking Gon went to charge up like Goku, Naruto, and Ichigo would, and Killua said, it doesn't matter how mad you get, we're not tight enough. Bow, and knocked his ass out.
We weak as hell, nigga. No, we
yeah,
gon'
like chill,
we
my
ain't the
nigga.
niggas, bro. You don't have Kurama inside doing
I
like that.
appreciate that shit like so much in shonen because I've seen so much shonen. So when a deconstruction says we can take those tropes, spin them backwards, and still be successful, that's like one of the best feelings ever to me.
What's the next one, G?
Sorry.
Oh no, we gotta wrap it up now.
Yeah.
My bad. I'm sorry.
Y'all took too long on that one, but you know, it was great having y'all on. Just like Player 5 said, wrap it up with where people can find you, any other things you want to pub, and then we'll close it out.
Once again,
Go ahead, Nick.
ladies first, you got it.
Go ahead, Nick. Go ahead,
Oh,
Nick.
thank you guys. I was gonna say real quick, of course, you can find us on everything Blainme Podcast, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter account, and then my personal social media handles on Twitter. It is Sine_, and then on IG, Mike always has to remind me. On IG is _Sine, SCNAE.
Yeah, you can find us, like I say, everything that she said on Blainme Podcast. I'm Unbothered Mike on Twitter, and Mike is Unbothered on IG. And then also check us out on Wednesdays at Anime After Dark CH on Clubhouse. We're doing a conjunction with Where's Jen and other podcasters on that. So if you have an iPhone, tap in the Clubhouse and check us out on Wednesday nights.
Get ready for slander too.
Get ready for the slander on Wednesdays nights. Anime After Dark on Clubhouse. You can find them on both our pages. You can find us at worstgenerationpodcast.com. You can also find us on Twitter at worstgenpod. You can find us on Instagram at worstgenerationpodcast. And if you want to happen to look me up, I'm on Twitter as Genius. That's GE.
Always the humble
_IUS. Oh, last but not least, if anybody's new to anime and manga, check out our anime and manga beginner's guide, the Worst Gen Crew beginner's guide. You can find that at worstgenerationpodcast.com/beginner's guide for a free download.
It's your boy Sensei Lay Glove again. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Sensei Lay Glove. You can also find links to my YouTube channel at Sensei Lay Glove. That's pretty much it. Also check me out on Worst Gen Podcast. Shout out to my Worst Gen niggas. We are the Worst Gen niggas. So
yeah. Knox, Project Manga, everything. Project Manga on YouTube, Project Manga on Twitch, Project Manga on.
You say, bitch, we trademark.
Yeah. Spotify, Apple, the whole thing. We review Weekly Shonen Jump in a podcast setting. So we cover 6 different manga right now, including One Piece, My Hero Academia, Black Clover. And also, we do that all, in a podcast setting. Yeah. But then we also have a couple other shows. We do tangential tie-ins where we talk about general anime and manga discussion topics like strongest characters, best transformations, etc. And then we have a third show called One Shots, which is a live manga podcast on Twitch every other Wednesday at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Also, One Piece is not overrated.
One Piece is not overrated. And thank you so much, MGG and Player 5. I just want to say thank you so much for the atmosphere.
Thank you guys. Y'all
dope, man. Thanks for
fucking
having
amazing.
so much.
Dope as hell.
Amazing.
This is dope.
This is so fun.
Yes.
Sorry I was late, bro.
It's all good, bro.
It was our fault.
And thanks to all the listeners.
It's fine.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks
Tuned in.
everyone. And just another reminder, after this, there is another panel. It is Steampunk and Anime by Airship Ashanti. So
Nice.
To stay on for that. But also, because I haven't been pubbing this enough, we have a convention shirt. And it's
Nice.
That shirt dope as fuck, G.
That is dope.
That shirt
Oh,
dope
that
as
is
fuck.
nice.
Yeah, so it's 15% off with the code Afrokon 2021. You only got today and tomorrow to.
Or you can win a free one.
Yeah.
How?
or
In
you can win
Jeopardy.
one in
How?
the Blur
How?
Jeopardy.
Thought y'all was trying to play some Smash. I was gonna fuck y'all.
And Blur
See me on
Jeopardy.
Brawlhalla.
Right. So make sure you cop one on our website, AfrOtakus.com or the blurbox.shop. They're both there. You can buy one. Or you can win one at Blur Jeopardy. So either way, we got just a few more events for y'all to wrap out the night. I think like 3 more, and we'll be good. And we'll see y'all tomorrow morning for the next set of panels.
Thank you guys.
Thank
you
you.
guys for joining.
Thank you.
Bye,
Peace.
everybody.
That was lit. Oh, we're all gone. Okay.